Good evening, everyone. In the last session, we started our discussion related to our Springboot and microservices. So in the previous classes, we understood what is a framework and how many types of frameworks available in the Java and what is Spring framework and what we can develop by using Spring framework and what are the modules available in the Spring framework and what is the purpose of each Spring module. And we discussed about monolith architecture versus microservices architecture. Can you guys tell me what is a framework? Framework is a semi-developed software which provides some common logics required for several applications development. When we are developing projects, every project will have some business requirement and some common logics also will be available. Instead of we are writing those common logics in every project, we can use a framework. Framework will provide the common logics. We can write only business logic so that our project development can be completed quickly. Within the less time, we can do more work when we go for framework. How many types of frameworks we have in Java? Three types of frameworks available now. Earlier, ORM and web. Now, application development framework. Hibernate comes under which category? Hibernate comes under which category? ORM. By using Hibernate, we can develop only DAO layer. Persistence layer we can develop by using Hibernate. By using struts, we can develop only web layer. So here, by using Spring, we can develop both web layer as well as persistence layer. As we are using Spring to develop end-to-end application, Spring is called as application development framework. Spring is not a single framework. Spring is a collection of modules, right? So Spring framework developed in modular fashion. There are several modules available in the Spring framework. So can you tell me Spring module names? Come on. Spring core module, Spring context module, Spring AOP, Spring JDBC, Spring ORM, Spring Web MVC, Spring Security, Spring Data JPA, Spring REST, Spring Cloud, Spring Batch. Like that, there are 20 plus modules available in the Spring framework. Is it mandatory to learn all the modules? No. Spring is a loosely coupled framework. So whichever the module is required for your project, you can take only that module to develop your project, right? It is not mandatory to use all the modules. It is not mandatory to learn all the modules. So what is your requirement? You want to use a Spring only for web layer development. Then you need to learn only WebMVC module. You want to use the Spring to develop a persistence layer. Then go for Spring JDBC or Spring ORM. I want to use the Spring to develop my project with loosely coupling. I want to develop my project with loosely coupling. Then I need to go for Spring core module. In my project, I have primary logic and secondary logic. I want to separate them. For that, we are going to use Spring AOP module. AOP stands for Aspect Oriented Programming. By using that AOP module, we can separate our primary logic and secondary logic. I want to secure my application. I want to implement security in my application. Which module I need to use? Spring Security module I need to use. Online people are not responding. Online students are not responding to my questions. Please respond. You need to type the answer in the chat box. Please be active in the session. Then only you can learn the subject. Right. I want to perform bulk operation in my project. Spring Batch module is available. I have millions of records in the file. I want to read the data from the files. I want to store into database. That is a batch operation. So to implement a batch operation, we can go for Spring Batch module. Now I want to manage configurations required for my project. Spring context module. I want to develop a web application by using Spring. Spring WebMVC module. I want to separate primary logic and secondary logic. Spring AOP module. I want to manage microservices in my project. Which module we use to manage microservices configuration? Spring Cloud module. Which one? Spring Cloud. Spring Cloud module will provide the configurations that are required for microservices development. I want to develop a REST API in my project. Spring REST module. I want to develop persistence layer easily. Spring Data JPA. Total, how many ways we can develop persistence layer? JDBC, Spring JDBC, Hibernate, Spring ORM, Spring Data JPA. So total there are 5 ways available to develop persistence layer. What is the meaning of persistence layer? The layer which is responsible to communicate with the database, that is called as persistence layer. Now tell me, what kind of applications we can develop by using Spring? What type of applications we can develop by using Spring? You can develop standalone applications. You can develop web applications. You can develop distributed applications also. What is the meaning of distributed application? If one application is communicating with another application, then that is called as distributed application. Can you give any example for distributed application? Phone Pay, Google Pay, Make My Trip, IRCTC, Passport, Aadhaar Card, Swiggy, Zomato. All these applications are communicating with some other application for business execution. So one company doing business, other company doing business. As part of their business, they want to communicate. So Make My Trip is doing business, IRCTC doing business. Business to business communication. One business application will communicate with another business application by using distributed application. By using Spring, we can develop such kind of distributed applications also. Standalone we can develop, web application we can develop, and distributed applications also can be developed by using Spring. Can I say Spring is a replacement for Java? Spring is not replacement for Java. Spring is extension for the Java. We are using Spring Framework. Spring Framework internally using Java only. So internally Spring is using Java only. Spring Framework provided several classes and interfaces to develop our application. By using those classes and interfaces, we will develop our projects with loosely coupling. By writing less code, we can complete our task. Are you clear? Good. Fine. Next, we understood what is a monolith architecture and what is a microservices architecture. What is this monolith? What is a microservice? These are architecture styles to develop a project. Now, if you want to construct a house, you will go to an architect. He will draw the plan. He will tell you this is how your house can be constructed. A plan will be available. That is architecture plan. Similarly, when we are going to develop a project, first we need to finalize architecture of the project. So here we have two types of architectures to develop the project. What are those two types of architectures? One is monolith architecture. Second one is microservices architecture. When we can say project is a monolith architecture project, if all the functionalities are developed in one application, then that is called as monolith architecture project. Is that recommended or not recommended? Monolith application not recommended. Why it is not recommended? Maintenance problem. Maintenance problem. If I want to make a small change, the whole project should be compiled. Whole project should be repackaged. Whole project should be redeployed. So that will become hectic for the operations team in the real time. So that's why the project functionality is divided into small projects. Those are called as REST APIs. So those REST APIs we are developing by using microservices architecture. What is the advantage of the microservices architecture? Loosely coupling, easy maintenance, easy deployment, right? Maintenance of the project will become easy if you develop the project by using microservices. So to develop the microservices, first we should know how to develop the REST API. To develop the REST API easily, we are using Spring Boot in the market. So can I say Spring Boot is a replacement for the Spring framework? No, Spring Boot is not replacement for the Spring. Then what is a Spring Boot? Spring Boot is a extension for the Spring framework. How many lines of code we are writing in the Java, JDBC, JWE? Those lines reduced by the Spring. The number of lines of code we are writing in the Spring even reduced by Spring Boot. Spring Boot is the most advanced topic in the Java community to develop the application. Spring Boot is having lot of demand in the market because Spring Boot is using to develop microservices in the market. Currently, every project is getting developed by using microservices architecture. Front-end application will be separate, back-end applications will be separate. Front-end user interface application will be available, back-end microservices will be available. Front-end back-end integration also we have to perform. Good. Then only we can call as full stack developer. Front-end development, back-end development. Perfect. Now, today we are getting started with our first module in the Spring, which is very base module for the Spring framework, that is Spring core module. So this is Spring base module of Spring framework. Base module of Spring framework, providing IOC and DI. Providing IOC and DI. IOC and DI are used to develop classes with loosely coupling. So first we need to understand what is a tightly coupling, what is the problem with the tightly coupling. Then we will try to achieve loosely coupling. So how to achieve the loosely coupling? How this IOC and DI will help us in achieving the loosely coupling, we will understand. So our journey is starting with the Spring core module. Spring core module is called base module of the Spring framework. Core module providing fundamental concepts of the Spring framework. Those are IOC container and dependency injection. Why we are going to use IOC and DI? IOC and DI are used to develop classes with loosely coupling. First of all, let's understand what is loosely coupling and what is tightly coupling. I have a requirement to develop one project, guys. Let's understand my requirement. I have a car class. In the real time, multiple classes will be available in a project. One class should talk to another class to perform the operation. Now, let me take one simple example. I want to develop a car, right? Why we are using the car? To drive that. If you want to travel from one place to another place, then we are going to use the car. We are going to drive that car. So I'm taking a class called car. Inside the car class, I have a method called drive method. I have a method called drive method. Now, in order to drive a car, that car should contain a engine. In order to drive the car should contain a engine. Now here, I'm taking another class called engine class. In the engine class, I'm taking a method called start method. Engine is having a start method, car is having a drive method. So if I want to drive the car, first I need to start the engine. Yes or no, guys? So here I'm taking two classes. One class is called car, which contains a drive method. Observe, guys, today is completely programming part. Theory part is completed. So from now, we need to understand the programming part. In that programming, we need to use the Spring concepts and we need to simplify that program. Right. I have a car class. In the car class, I have a drive method. And in order to drive that car, I need to start the engine. Engine class is separate. Engine class is having a start method. Now, here, guys, car class is dependent on the engine. car is dependent on engine or engine is dependent on the car? Car is dependent on the engine. That means if I want to drive the car, first I need to start the engine. Car is dependent on the engine. So when I call the drive method will call the start method. One Java class method should call the another Java class method. How many ways are there to call one Java class method from another Java class method? As a Java programmer, you need to call one Java class method from another Java class method. Simple. For car class drive method should call engine class start method. How many ways we can do that? Two ways we can do that. What are the two ways? One is using is a relation. One is by using is a relation. Second one is by using has a relation. One is by using is a relation. Second one is by using has a relation. Inheritance comes under is a relation. Composition comes under has a relation. Can I develop that application now? Can we create that application now? Yep. Here I am creating my workspace. This is empty. No, nothing is available. Let me choose this workspace. I'm using my toolsuit IDE to develop this project. It is a simple, normal core Java project. I'm not using Maven. I'm not using Spring because I want to show you what is a tightly coupling first. Then we will try to resolve that by using IOC container. Now I'm using my workspace. Yeah, SBMS workspace. Let me create a simple Java project with a car and engine. Yeah, perfect. My IDE is open. Spring Toolsuit IDE. You can use Eclipse also, no problem. Yeah, file, new. So here I'm going to create a normal Java project. Right, choose file, new, normal Java project. Here I'm taking it as car application. Car application, Java 8 I'm going to use. Click on next, click on finish. Yeah. So normal Java project created. Let me create a class engine. I'm taking a method public integer start method. Here some logic will be available to start the engine. Return 1. So if it returns a positive number, that means engine is started. Integer, any positive number or negative number. If this method returns a positive number, that means my engine is started, then I can drive my car. If this method returns a negative number, engine is not started, some logic will go here. I'm returning a positive number. Now let's create car class. Car. Inside this, I'm going to take drive method, public void drive. Right. I want to drive the car. To drive the car, I need to start the engine. If engine is started, then only I can drive my car. So how many ways car can talk to engine? There are two ways. One is inheritance. Okay. Car extends properties from engine. Subclass can directly access superclass methods, right? Super dot start. I'm accessing a superclass method. Then I'm getting superclass method I'm calling. It will give the return type. What is the return type of this? Integer value. That is status. Car engine is started or not. If status is greater than or equal to 1, if it is a positive number, then I can say system.out.println journey started. Right? Journey started. Else, if it is not a positive number, engine problem, engine trouble. Perfect. So here I'm writing my application. car class I have created. Car class is extending the properties from the engine class, and I'm creating a drive method. There is no business logic, guys, just two Java classes. I'm not taking M1, M2 method. I'm taking some meaningful methods here. Drive method is available. Drive method has to start the engine. Once the engine is started, I will get the status of the engine. If status is a positive number, then I will say journey started. If it is not a positive number, I will say engine trouble. Okay. Engine class is available. Car class is available. Let me go for one main class, app class, right? Which is used to test that. 1 minute. Yeah. Right click, new class. Right click, new class. I'm taking a class with a name called app. Click on finish. Now, in this app class, I'm taking a main method. Now, I'm going to create the object for car. C is equal to new car. C dot drive. Right. C dot drive. Save this and run the program. Run as Java application. Okay. Am I able to start the journey? Yes, I'm able to start the journey. My requirement is completed. I want to drive the car. To drive the car, I need to start my engine. My engine is started. It is giving a positive number. If engine is started, then my journey is started. I'm able to develop my application like this. But can you see, is there any problem in this program? What is the problem in this program? What is the problem in this program? Car is extending the properties from the engine. Car is extending the properties from the engine. Tomorrow, can I extend properties from any other Java class? From the car? Can car use inheritance in future? Car can use inheritance in future, or car cannot use inheritance in future? Car class cannot use inheritance in the future. Why? Why? Java does not support for multiple inheritance. At most, you can extend the properties from only one class. Already I am extending the properties from engine. Can I, if you read it, can I say car is a engine? Generic grammar, English grammar. Can I say car has engine? Car is engine? Car has engine. So in general, if you just to speak English, this relation is looking proper or it is not looking proper? Car extending from engine. So that means it is a easier relation. Car is a engine. Is it having a meaning? Car is a engine. No. Person is extending from user. Can I say that? Person is a user. In English, is it correct or not? Student extending from user. Student is a user. Teacher is a user. Car is a engine. Is it having any meaning, guys? It does not have any meaning. Now here, if I am extending the properties from the engine, in future, I cannot extend the properties from any other class. My car class is tightly coupled with the engine. Tomorrow, if any changes happen to the engine class functionality, then my car class will be affected. Tomorrow, if they modify something in the engine, then my car class will be affected for that. That means car is tightly coupled with the engine. So it is not recommended to develop the classes with the tightly coupling. Tomorrow, if other developer modify the engine class, if they modify the return type from the into to double, if they modify the return type from into to double, then car class is failing or not? Compilation failed for the car class. That means if any changes happened in the engine class, those changes will affect on the car class functionality, because car is directly extending the properties from the engine. Car is tightly coupled with the engine, and car class cannot extend the properties from any other class in the future. You are sleeping, man. Go out, wash your face. Am I singing a song? Huh? Then? Yeah, why? You people should give me more energy to teach the class. If you are feeling sleepy, then I will also feel sleepy. You should give me proper environment to teach more subject, guys. Somebody is sleeping, somebody using mobile. क्या चल समझ में नहीं आता मुझे. That is the reason I'm asking you people to participate in the session. When I ask a question, you need to give the answer so that you will not feel sleepy. If you don't open your mouth, after 10 minutes, you will feel sleep. So when I ask a question, please repeat. When I'm asking a question, answer that so that you will not get into that sleep mode. Right. So here, if a car is extending the properties from the engine, then what is the problem? If a car is extending the properties from engine, then what is the problem? Car is extending from engine. Car is extending engine class. So what is the meaning of car is extending the engine class? Car class can't use inheritance in future. Car class can't use inheritance in future. Can't use inheritance in future. Any changes in the engine class, any changes in engine class will affect on car class. Car is tightly coupled with the engine. Car is tightly coupled with engine. So this is recommended approach to develop the project, or this is not recommended approach to develop the project? Not the recommended approach to develop the project. Sir, why I have taken car and engine is tomorrow we will have a class called DAO class. My DAO class is responsible to communicate with the database. Now, these DAO class methods we need to call from service class methods, right? So here, assume that car is a service, engine is a DAO. Car is talking to engine today. Tomorrow in the real project, service class should talk to DAO class. So are you going to extend DAO from the service? Are you going to extend DAO from the service? What is the problem? What is the problem? Tightly coupling. Car is extending engine class. Car class cannot use inheritance in future. Any changes in the engine class, will affect on the car class. Car is tightly coupled with the engine. It is not recommended to develop the classes with tightly coupling. It is not recommended to develop classes with tightly coupling. So now in our scenario, inheritance is recommended. Inheritance is not recommended. Inheritance is not recommended because if I go for inheritance, my classes are getting tightly coupled. I want to achieve loosely coupling. Okay, inheritance is not a good choice for me. No, I want to go for a next option. What is the next option? What is the next option? The next option is has a relation. Instead of extending the properties, I will create the object. Instead of extending the properties, I will create the object. So let me create the object. Engine eng is equal to new engine. Create the object. Then call eng.start method. Okay, one problem I resolved. My class is open for inheritance. In future, if I want to extend the properties from any class, I can extend that because car is not extending from anything now. So how car is communicating with the engine? Car is communicating with the engine by creating the object. Now let's run this program. Run as Java application. Are you able to run that? Yes, our requirement is completed or not? Completed. But can you see any problem here? Can you see any problem in this approach now? Tomorrow, they have modified engine class constructor. They have taken string fuel type. If they make any changes to the engine class, is it affecting on the car class? So if I go for inheritance, there is a tightly coupling. If I go for object creation, there is a tightly coupling. Other developer added parameterized constructor for the engine class. When parameterized constructor is added, default constructor will not be added. But car class is trying to create the object by using zero param constructor, which is not available. Any changes that are happened to the engine class affecting on the car class. So can I say car is loosely coupled with the engine, car is tightly coupled with the engine? Car is tightly coupled with the engine. So here, when I make some changes to the engine class, those are affecting on the car class functionality. So if I go for inheritance, that problem is there. If I go for composition also, that problem is available. Now today, my car is talking to one engine class, but tomorrow I want to flexibility. My car should be able to run with the diesel engine. My car should be able to run with the petrol engine. My car should be able to run with the electric engine. So I should be able to use any engine for my car. I want my car as loosely coupled. Today I want to run my car with the diesel engine. Tomorrow I want to run with the petrol engine. Day after tomorrow I want to go with the electric engine. I want to have plug and play functionality for the car. If I go and create the object like this, can I achieve that plug and play functionality? No. So here I am creating the engine object. Tomorrow, I want to change from this engine to petrol engine. Then what should I do? I want to change my car from diesel engine to petrol engine. What I need to do? Without modifying the car class code, can I change the engine? Without modifying the car class, can I change the engine? No, that is the problem if you create the object directly. If you extend the properties, you can extend the properties from only one class. Assume that this engine is a diesel engine. Today I am okay with the diesel engine. After 1 year, I want to change from the diesel engine to petrol engine. After 6 months, I am comfortable with the electric engine. So if I want to change the engine, car class code should be modified, or car class code no need to be modified. If I want to change the engine, car class code should be modified, or car class code no need to be modified. If I change one class functionality, other class functionality is affecting. That is called tightly coupling. So that is called tightly coupling. What I want to do is, without modifying the single line of code in the car, I should be able to change from one engine to another engine. Then I can say my classes are loosely coupled. Are you guys getting my point? What is the tightly coupling? If one class is directly talking to another class, if one class is directly dependent on the another class, then those classes are called as tightly coupled classes. It is not recommended to develop the classes with the tightly coupling. Why? Because tomorrow our client will come and client will say that, hey, I'm not liking this diesel engine, remove the diesel engine, keep electric engine. Immediately, I want to change my car from diesel to electric. So then what I need to do? I need to modify my car. This is one scenario. Let us go for another scenario. When you go for a restaurant, they will bring one device to swipe your card to do the payment. Are they accepting only debit card payment? Are they accepting only debit card payment? So the device is tightly coupled with the payment option. Device is loosely coupled with the payment option. device is loosely coupled with the payment option. You can use debit card. You can use credit card. You can use scanner. You can use scanner. You can use MX card. You can use Sodexo card also. Sir, what is Sodexo? Tomorrow, when you go for the company, every month, company will add 1100 rupees or 2200 rupees for your food purchase. Company, once you join in the company, the MNC company, they will give you a Sodexo card. Sodexo card, nothing but food coupons. Food coupons will be available. So those food coupons, those food coupons can be used in the shops. Only in the non-alcoholic shops you can swipe that card. So you can purchase food items, supermarket. So like that, they will give you a Sodexo card. With that Sodexo card also, you can pay the bill in the restaurant. Right? So whatever the device that you are using, that device will accept debit card, credit card, Sodexo card, MX cards also. Company will give you a credit card that is called MX card. So you can use any card to pay your bill amount in the restaurant. So the device is accepting only one type of card, or device is accepting any type of card? Any type of card. Now, so here in the device, if I create the object directly, credit card CC is equal to new credit card, is it going to work? If I create the object directly, what will happen? It can use only credit card payment. But do you think that everybody will use credit card? No. Then, so classes are tightly coupled or classes are loosely coupled? Classes are tightly coupled. Is it recommended to go for tightly coupling or not recommended? Not recommended. Always our classes should be loosely coupled. So first I want to develop this car and engine, then I will go for the payment functionality. Got it? Now here I'm creating object for the engine class. So what is the problem if I create the object for the engine class like this? Slowly we are jumping into real-time scenarios. If anybody feeling sleepy, go and wash your face and come back. If you sleep now, rest of the life also you have to sleep. Without Springboot microservices, nobody will give you the job. If you want to crack any interview as a fresher or as an experience, this is Springboot microservice is important. To understand the Springboot, Spring knowledge is required. To understand the Spring, you need to understand IOC. If you want to understand the IOC, first you need to understand what is tightly coupling. Everything is link. Everything is having a link. Please concentrate. Not just your body, your mind also should present here. Please concentrate. These explanation, these examples you will not get in the internet also. In the internet, in the YouTube, videos will be available. What is IOC? Within 2 minutes they will explain. What is a dependency injection? Within 5 minutes they will explain. Here we are going to spend 10 hours to understand what is IOC and what is a DI. That is the base concept to understand the Spring. Without Spring, there is no Springboot. Without IOC container, there is no Spring framework. Without Spring framework, there is no Springboot. So there is a dependency, guys. Please concentrate. Now, I'm trying to create the object for the engine class in the car class. If I create the object for the engine in the car, what is the problem? What is the meaning of tightly coupling? Always my car will talk to only one engine. Tomorrow I want to change from one engine to another engine. Is it possible without modifying the code? Without modifying the code, I cannot change from one engine to another engine. So the degree of the dependency between the two classes is very high. That's why those classes are called tightly coupled. So if I go for inheritance, there is a tightly coupling. If I go for composition also, there is a tightly coupling. Fine. Then I should not go for inheritance. I should not go for composition. Then how my car class can talk to engine class? Now see here, it is not recommended to develop classes with the tightly coupling like above. Here I am using inheritance approach. I removed the inheritance approach and I am using composition approach. Now in the composition approach also, car is directly creating object for engine. Car is directly creating object for engine. Car class, car is directly creating object for engine. Any changes to engine class, any changes to engine class will affect on car class. Car is always talking to only one engine. 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 If I want to change engine, if I want to change engine, then we should modify car class code. Car is tightly coupled with the engine. Car is tightly coupled with the engine. Are you able to follow me? Now read the points. Car is directly creating object for engine. Any changes to engine class will affect on car class. Car is always talking to only engine, only one engine. Now, if I want to change engine, if I want to change from one engine to another engine, from one engine to another engine, like diesel to petrol, petrol to diesel, diesel to electric. If I want to change from one engine to another engine, then we should modify car class code. So that means car is tightly coupled with the engine. Now, I want my car should be loosely coupled. I want my car should be loosely coupled. So that means I want a functionality. My car should be able to talk to any engine without modifying single line of code. Are you guys getting the problem? What is the problem we have now? We have a problem called tightly coupling. How can you say that there is a tightly coupling? I don't have a flexibility with the engine change. I want to change from one engine to another engine. Without modifying the code, can we change the engine? Without modifying the Java code, can we change the engine? Without modifying the Java code, we cannot change the engine. That means one class is directly dependent on the another class. That's why we are calling it as tightly coupling. I want to go for loosely coupling. What is the meaning of loosely coupling? Without modifying single line of code, I should be able to change one engine to another engine. My car should be able to talk to multiple engines without modifying the code. Are you clear? Good. Now, how to develop such kind of application? So to develop such kind of application, the first thing is we should not write the code like this. We should not write the code like this. Now, here guys, let me modify my diagram. Here, I want to use three types of engines. I want to use three types of engines. One is diesel engine. Another one is petrol engine. Third one is electric engine. Like this, I want to take three types of engines. I want to flexibility. Diesel engine, petrol engine, electric engine. You can relate same example, credit card payment, debit card payment, Sodexo payment, right? Three types of payments I want to support. Customer can use any type of payment. Now, my car should be able to use any type of engine. Diesel engine, petrol engine, electric engine. Now here, I have a car. My car is having drive method. I have a car. My car is having drive method. So when I want to drive the car, first I need to start the engine, right? Like this, I'm taking a car class. My car class should talk to engine classes, right? If a drive method, if a car is talking to diesel engine directly, then what will happen? If a car is creating the diesel engine object directly, what will happen? Tightly coupling. If I create petrol engine object, tightly coupling. If I create electric engine object, tightly coupling. I don't want to go for tightly coupling. Can I go for inheritance? Car extends to diesel engine. Tomorrow I want to change from one engine to another engine. Inheritance will help or inheritance will not help? Will not help. If I create the object directly, that also will not help. So inheritance we should not use, composition we should not use for loosely coupling. Now, in order to achieve loosely coupling, my car should not talk to any engine directly. My car should not talk to any engine directly. What I will do is, all these are engines only. In my company, whatever the engines we are manufacturing, every engine should follow some common rules. So I am manufacturing the engine. You are, simple example, you are purchasing a mobile. Okay, nowadays, for every mobile, the charging port will be common. Why? Earlier, 5-10 years back, charging port is common for every mobile, or charging port is not common for every mobile? Not common. Now every mobile is following the common charging port. Why? Loosely coupling. All the mobile manufacturing companies are following some rules. Right? We are developing the mobiles. Customers should be able to use any charger to charge our mobile. So let us go with the C-type charging port. So everybody coming with the C-type charging port. Now, for every mobile, headset port will be available. Headset jack will be available. So that pin is the same for all the mobiles. Our pin is different. So I'm having one headset. Can I use with Samsung mobile? Can I use with a Redmi mobile? Can I use with Oppo mobile? Can I use with Nokia? Why? How it is possible? So they are following some common rules. Who is deciding these rules? Who is deciding? User is deciding, or companies are deciding? Companies are deciding. So all the company owners will form as one group. They will list down that if you want to achieve loosely coupling, what are the things we need to focus in our manufacturing? So headset jack should be same, charging port should be same, like that. Some common rules are available for all the mobiles. Similarly, so many companies are manufacturing the engines. Bosch engines available, Maruti engines available, Toyota engines are available, like that. There are so many engine manufacturing companies are available. So many vendors are available. So many people are manufacturing the engines. Now, every engine manufacturing company should follow some common properties. Then only that can be fit with all types of vehicles, right? Different types of vehicles are available. Different types of engines are available. So everybody should follow some common properties, then only we can achieve loosely coupling. Now, similarly, in the programming also, I am developing credit card functionality, credit card payment I am developing. You are developing debit card payment. She is developing Sodexo payment. So we are working on the same project. So client can choose credit card payment or debit card payment or Sodexo payment. So one developer, I am working on the credit card payment. You are working on debit card payment. She is working on Sodexo payment. So 3 different classes we are developing, right? So when we are developing 3 different classes, we should follow some common properties, or everybody will follow their own rules? We need to follow some common properties in the development. Array, we are developing credit card payment. We are developing debit card payment, Sodexo payment. In all the classes, let us write the same method. Do payment. Take the bill amount, take the card number, take the CVV, take the card issue date, card expiry date, like that. Some common properties we need to follow when we are developing the project. So I need to create a class called credit card payment. You need to create a class called debit card payment. She need to create a class called Sodexo payment. I am writing one method called do payment. You are writing one method calculate payment. She is writing some other method process payment. So is there any common method, or different methods are available? Different methods are available. Tomorrow, one new developer joined. Simple example. Let me write it. So here I am writing a class called credit card payment. In my class, I'm writing a method with a name called do payment method. Now, you are working on one class debit card payment. You are writing one method called process pay. You are writing one method, process pay. So she is working on one more class, that is Sodexo payment. Sodexo payment. She is writing a method called pay bill method. So is there any uniformness? But all are working on the same project. You, me, she, we are one team. I'm working on credit card functionality. You are working on debit card. She is working on Sodexo. I have developed my own method. You developed your own method. She developed her own method. Tomorrow, new developer came into project. We want to support one more type of card called MX card. Now, for the developer, we will tell that, boss, don't apply your brain. We already created 3 classes for the payment. Just to look at our classes and you develop the functionality for the MX card payment. Now he will go to first class, okay. Second class, okay. Third class, okay. Now confusion started. First class having do payment method. Second class having process payment method. Third class is having pay bill method. What method I have to write? Are you guys getting my point? So new developers can easily understand our structure, or they cannot understand our structure. They cannot understand our structure. It is confusing. I am writing my own method for the same requirement. We want to do payment. We want to do the bill payment. I am doing with credit card payment functionality. You are doing debit card. She is doing Sodexo. But we are using 3 different methods. We are using 3 different methods. So tomorrow I want to support for MX card. Other developer should, I assign the task to new developer. What the new developer will do? New developers will directly write the code, or they will observe the existing code first. They will observe the existing code. By observing the existing code, what conclusion he will get? First class is having one method, second class is having some other method, third class is having some other method. Now what method I have to write? Confusion will be there or confusion will not be there? 100% confusion will be there. Okay. So to avoid this problem in the real time, what we do is we are going to use a concept called interface concept. We are going to use a concept called interface concept. I will create a interface called iPayment. I represents it is a interface. In the iPayment interface, I will write one method called process payment. I will write a method called process payment parameters like bill amount, card number, card expiry date, card CVV. I will take as a method parameter. Process payment method I am writing in a interface called iPayment interface. Now, as a team lead, I will call all my team members. I will tell them that, boss, we got a requirement to implement a payment functionality. Customer should use any option to do the payment. Our device should support for all the payments. Do one thing. Hey, you work on the credit card payment. You work on the debit card. You work on the Sodexo. But remember, we should follow some common rules. All you people should implement a payment functionality. For that, I already created a interface. You just implement my interface. You just implement my interface. Now, the developer who is going to work on the credit card payment, they will write their own method, or they need to implement the method which is available in the interface. They need to implement the method which is available in the interface. What is the meaning of implementing a interface? Overriding the abstract method and write the business logic. Now, what method will be available in the credit card payment? Process payment method will be available in the credit card payment. What method will be available in the debit card payment? Process payment will be available. What method will be available in the Sodexo payment? Tomorrow new developer came. I will tell to new developer, you work on the MX card payment. You just implement my interface. He will go to all the 3 classes. He will come to a conclusion. Everybody following the same method. I should also write the same method. So which one is easy? Earlier one is easy or this one is easy? Where we will use interfaces in the real time. If you want to follow some standards in the project, then only we are going to use the interfaces. In the core Java, we know interface. Everybody will tell what is interface, which contains only abstract methods is called interface. But where to use interface in the project? Now you can answer. When you want to force the developers to use same methods in the multiple classes, then we are going to create a interface. Now in the JDBC, everything is a interface. Driver is a interface, connection is a interface, statement is interface, prepare statement interface, callable statement interface, result set is also interface. Why? Sun Micro system decided the methods, Oracle implementing the same methods, MySQL implementing the same methods, DB2 also implementing the same method. Suppose if a Sun Micro system did not give the connection interface, statement interface, what this Oracle company, MySQL company will do? They will write their own methods. So Oracle having some method names, MySQL will have some methods, DB2 will have some methods. Java developers will die. Which methods we need to remember? Now if I ask you how to get a connection, what is the method? Get connection method is available. Get connection method is available. I want to create a statement. What is the method available? Create statement. Create statement method given by whom? Sun Micro system in the connection interface. But who actually implemented that interface? Oracle company implemented, MySQL implemented, DB2 implemented. So many database vendors implemented. So as a Java developer, do you need to remember all the methods or only interface methods? Only interface methods. What Sun Micro system has done? Sun Micro system told that, hey Oracle, hey Microsoft, hey JBoss, whatever the company which is having a database, if you want to implement my JDBC API, you have to follow my rules. You have to use my connection interface. You have to use my statement interface, my result set interface, my callable statement, my prepared statement. I will give you an interface with abstract method. You write implementation. Whatever the logic you want to write, you can write it. But the method name should be my interface method. That's why we are able to remember JDBC methods easily, even though there are 30 implementations available. Suppose if Sun Micro system did not give the interface, then can you imagine the situation? Oracle people may write a method, get to Oracle connection. MySQL people may write, create MySQL statement, create a DB2 statement. But that problem is available or that problem not available now? Not available. Why that problem not available? Because of the interfaces. Because of the interfaces. So what we are telling by using interfaces? Follow some common standards. Follow some common standards. Now here, when we are implementing a payment functionality, every developer who is working on the payment functionality should follow iPayment interface. I am writing credit card payment, but what should be my method name? Logic can be anything, but method name should be process payment. Oracle people giving the Oracle connection. Which method we are calling? Get connection. When I call get connection, if I use Oracle driver, Oracle logic will execute. If I use a MySQL driver, MySQL logic will. Logic is different, but method name is same, right? So what is the advantage with the interfaces? First thing is readability will be improved. Easily we can understand what is the purpose of which method and when to write which method, when to use which method, we can easily understand. Are you clear with this concept? Why we are going for interfaces? Why we are going for interfaces? If you want to force the developers to use the same methods, then we will go for interface. Now here, I am trying to manufacture diesel engine, petrol engine, electric engine. So diesel engine manufacturing by one company, petrol engine manufacturing by other company, electric engine manufacturing by some other company. Everybody can choose their own methods or they should follow some standards. They should follow some standards. Now here I am giving a standard by using one interface called iEngine. I'm using one interface called iEngine. In the iEngine, I'm writing one method called int_start method. So any company who is manufacturing an engine should follow iEngine. That is the rule. every bank should follow RBI rules, right? Every bank should follow RBI rules. Similarly, every engine should follow I-engine rules. Now, diesel engine class is implementing I-engine interface. Petrol engine class is implementing I-engine interface. Electric engine class is implementing I-engine interface. So now, every class will have their own method. Every class will have only start method. Diesel engine will have a start method. Petrol engine will have a start method. Electric engine also will have a start method. Why every class having the same method? Why every class having a same method? Because they are following a interface. So what is the meaning of implementing a interface? We need to override all the abstract methods of the interface. My interface contain one abstract method. The classes which are implementing that interface should override that abstract method. So what is the meaning of implementing abstract method? Writing the method body. So diesel engine should write the body for the start method. Petrol engine should write the body for the start method. Electric engine also should write the body for the start method. There are three classes available. Three classes are implementing the same interface. Are you guys clear with my point? Now, in the Java, can I create the object for the interface or I cannot create object for the interface? I cannot create the object for the interface, but I can create the object for implementation class of the interface. Now see here, I'm going to write a line, list L is equal to new list. Valid or invalid? Valid or invalid? Invalid. Why it is invalid? Because list is a interface. We cannot create the object for the list in the Java. Now let me go for list AL is equal to new array list. List AL is equal to new array list. Valid or invalid? Valid. Interface reference variable can hold its implementation class object. Array list is the implementation class of the list interface. Now similarly, I'm going for list LL is equal to new linked list. Valid or invalid? Valid. Interface reference variable can hold any implementation class object. Now I am creating iEngine ENG is equal to new iEngine. Valid or invalid? Valid or invalid? Why it is invalid? Why it is invalid? Come on. Why it is invalid? It is a interface. It is a interface. Now iEngine EEngine is equal to new diesel engine. Valid or invalid? Valid. Interface reference variable can hold implementation class object. Are you guys getting my point? So by using interfaces, we can force the developers to use some common methods. Now earlier in the car class, I created the object for the engine. Are you guys getting my point? If I create the object for the engine, what is the problem? Tightly coupled. Now in my project, what I will do is I'm going to create one interface. In my project, I'm going to create one interface. In this interface, I will write one method called start method. So this method is public and abstract method. I'm writing one method called start method. Okay. Now in my project, I will create engine. So this engine I will delete. Now I will create one class with a name called diesel engine. I'm creating one class with a name called diesel engine. Diesel engine is implementing iEngine. Diesel engine is implementing iEngine. Any Java class which is implementing an interface should override the abstract methods of the interface. Okay, here I am writing one method, start method. Oh, can I write my own method? Start engine, start diesel engine. Can I change the method or I have to follow the rule? I have to follow the rule because my engine is implementing iEngine. So my method name should be start. So here I'm writing a method with system.out.println diesel engine started. Diesel engine started. Here I'm returning 1. So this is one implementation class for the interface. Next, let's go for another engine. Let me create a class petrol engine. I'm creating one class with a name called petrol engine. Petrol engine is also extending the properties from iEngine. Petrol engine also extending the properties from I engine. Implement, sorry. Yeah. Petrol engine is implementing from I engine. Override the start method. So which engine is starting now? Petrol engine is starting. Let me write that logic here. Petrol engine started. Petrol engine started. I'm returning 1. Okay, perfect. So here I have a interface called I engine. There is a method. Diesel engine is implementing that interface. Petrol engine also implementing that interface. In the car class, I will not create the object. I will not extend the properties. I will not create the object. If I extend the properties or if I create the object, classes are tightly coupled. Now, here in the car class, I will declare a variable called iEngine ENG. I declared a variable called iEngine ENG. Now tell me, my car is directly talking to any engine, or my car is directly talking to a interface? My car is talking to a engine directly. My car is talking to a interface now. My car is talking to interface. So here I have declared one variable iEngine ENG. I declared one variable called iEngine ENG. Now tell me, car is tightly coupled with any engine. Car is loosely coupled with engine. Car is tightly coupled with the engine. Car is loosely coupled with the engine. Car is loosely coupled with the engine. Now, I will modify diesel engine class. Any effect on the car? Why no effect? Car is not using diesel engine. Okay. Tomorrow, I will... Who is that? Yeah. I will change a constructor of the petrol engine. I will add some parameter. Pramod, camera band karo bhai. Pramod Sahu. Yeah. Now I added a parameterized constructor in the class. When I add a parameterized constructor in the class, my car class is getting failed or not getting failed? Not getting failed. With this, can I say my car is loosely coupled with the engine? Yes, my car is loosely coupled with the engine. If you make any changes to a petrol engine, there is no impact on the car. If you make any changes to the diesel engine, there is no impact on the car. So whenever we are developing the classes in the real project, we should follow interfaces. If you use the interfaces, then your classes will be loosely coupled. If one class wants to talk to another class, directly don't create the object, directly don't extend the properties. Always we need to have interface as a mediator. So car should talk to engine. Car is directly talking to engine. Car is talking to engine through interface. Now see, is there any relation between the car and engine diagrammatically? No. Car having relation with whom? I engine. What is I engine? Interface. That interface having relation with the car. Interface reference variable can hold. I can use diesel engine object. I can use petrol engine object. I can use electric engine object. Now, in this variable, which object can I say it is a variable? Can I say it is a variable? Yes. It is a primitive variable or it is a referenced variable? Primitive variable or referenced variable? Referenced variable. So now, what data I can store into that variable? Object. Any object. Which object? Which object I can store into that variable? That variable belongs to iEngine data type. What is the data type of my variable? My variable data type is a interface. That means in that variable, I can store any implementation class belongs to that interface. So there are two implementation classes available. One is the diesel engine, another one is petrol engine. Now, this ENG variable can hold diesel engine object. This ENG can hold petrol object also. Are you guys getting my point? Now, if I write like this, new diesel engine, is it valid or not? Valid or not? It is value. Now, if I execute my app class, which engine it will start? I am going to call the drive method. What a drive method is doing? eng.start. What is the eng? Variable. What data available in the variable? Diesel engine object. So which engine start method it will call? Diesel engine start method it is going to call. Run as Java application. Which engine started? Diesel engine started. But loosely coupling is there. Tightly coupling is there. Look at the code. Still tightly coupling is available because I am creating the object. For that, I am using new operator. eng is equal to new diesel engine. I want to change it to petrol engine. Without modifying the code, is it possible? Without modifying the code, is it possible or not possible? It is not possible. So loosely coupled or tightly coupled? Tightly coupled. So if I want to achieve loosely coupling, I should not write this line. I should not write this piece of code. Now, I want my class to be loosely coupled. So, I will not create the engine object. I will remove this. I will tell to people who want to use my car, you decide which engine you want. Now, my car is ready. Can I drive my car now? Can I drive my car or I cannot drive my car? Cannot drive car. If I call drive method, what is the output? Now I am keep your brain, think. I'm creating object for the car. I'm calling the drive method. It will go to the drive method. It is calling engine.start method. Then it is going to print journey started or engine trouble. What output I will get with this logic? Engine trouble. Journey started. Engine trouble or journey started. This code will give null pointer exception. This code will give null pointer exception. Basic variable concept. Whenever we create an object for the class, instance variables will be initialized with the default value. So can I say this variable is an instance variable? Yes or no? This is an instance variable which is declared inside the class, outside the method without static keyword. So it is an instance variable or static variable or local variable? Instance variable. When the memory will be allocated for instance variable? When the object is created. Now here I'm creating the object for the car class. When I create the object for the car class, memory will be allocated for the instance variable. Am I initializing the variable? I'm not initializing the variable. I'm not initializing. When I don't initialize the instance variable, which value will be initialized? Default value. What is the default value for that variable? First of all, it is a primitive variable or reference variable? Reference variable. What is the default value for the reference variable? Null value. Null value. So in this variable, which value will be stored? Null value. Null dot method. Then why are you not able to answer that question? People are saying that journey started will come. People are saying that engine trouble will come. You need to think like a JVM. Whenever you are running the program, you need to think like a JVM. Array, he created a object for the car class. Whenever the object is created, memory will be allocated for the instance variable. So if you come to the car class, there is an instance variable. What is the data type of the variable? Interface. That means it is a reference variable. So there is no initialization. It will be initialized with the default value. What is the default value for the reference type? Null value. That means this variable will contain null value. When I call the drive method, what will happen? eng variable holding null value. Null dot method. If you do operation with the null object, you will get a null pointer exception. Getting my point? Everybody is failed to answer. Run as Java application. What is the output? Null pointer exception. Why null pointer exception? Why null pointer exception? It is just an instance variable without initialization. I just declared variable. I have not initialized the variable. When I don't initialize, who is initializing that? JVM. With which value? Default value. What is the default value? Null. When I call drive method, what will happen? Null dot method. What is the meaning of null dot method? What is the meaning of that? Null pointer exception. Null dot start. It will give null pointer exception. Are you getting my point? Now, I should not get the null pointer exception. I want to execute my functionality, man. I don't want to handle the exception. I want to execute my code. I want to drive my car. In order to drive a car, I need to start the engine. I need to initialize the engine. I'm going to initialize like this. New petrol engine. If I initialize like this, what is the problem? It is tightly coupling. So can I change from one engine to another engine? Can I change from one engine to another engine? No, I cannot change from one engine to another engine because I'm creating the object directly. This is recommended or not recommended? Not recommended. Now, if you initialize the variable, it is becoming tightly coupled. If I don't initialize the variable, it is becoming null pointer exception. Are you clear? Now, what is the solution? What is the solution now? I don't want to create the object, but still I should be able to execute my code without any exception. I should not get the exception. My logic should execute, but I should not create the object. Now, what I do is, I am manufacturing a car. My car can take engine, any engine. Instead of I am fixing the engine, I will make my engine functionality open for everybody. If you want to drive my car, you decide which engine you want. My car can take any type of engine. For that, what I will do is, I will write one constructor. I will write one constructor. Public car. For this car constructor, I will take a parameter iEngine eng. This dot eng is equal to eng. Are you clear? So what is constructor in the Java? What is a constructor in the Java? Constructor is a special method which is used to initialize current class instance variable. Now, can I say this is an instance variable? Yes, it is an instance variable. So, in order to initialize the variable, I am writing a constructor. It is a zero param constructor or parameterized constructor? It is a parameter constructor. What parameter it is expecting? What is iEngine? So what parameter I can pass for the constructor? Implementation of, simple example, man. I have a class called demo class. I have a class called demo. Inside the demo, I have a constructor public demo. It is expecting list L. What is the meaning of list L? What is the meaning of list L? I can pass array list object. I can pass linked list object, vector object, stack object. That means when the constructor is taking interface as a parameter, that interface implementation object you can pass as a input for that constructor. Similarly, I have taken a car class constructor. What is my parameter of the constructor? Interface. That means what is the meaning of that? That the constructor is expecting interface implementation class object. Are you guys getting my point? Now, anybody who want to create my car object, who want to drive my method. Drive is a static method. Drive is an instance method. Drive is an instance method. How to call the instance method? By creating the object. So in my class, to create the object, which constructor they should use? How many constructors available for the car now? Only one, that is parameter constructor. If you want to create the object, what you need to pass? Engine. Which engine? Any engine. Which is implementing I engine. Now, the people who want to use my car, they need to create the object and they need to pass object as a input for my car. Now, without modifying the car, can I change the engine? Yes or no? Without modifying the car, can I change the engine or not? Now run this, run as a Java application. Which engine started? Diesel engine started. Now I will change here from diesel engine to petrol engine. From diesel engine, I'm changing to petrol engine. Run my project, run as a Java application. Which engine started? Petrol engine started. I want to change from petrol to diesel. Am I modifying the car class? I'm not modifying the car class. I'm not modifying the car class. Can I say my car is loosely coupled with the engine? My car can take any engine which is implementing I engine interface. If you want to run the car, if you want to drive the car, you set the engine and you call the drive method. If you want to drive the car with the diesel engine, you create the car object with the diesel engine as a parameter. If you want to drive the car with the petrol engine, you create the car object with the petrol engine object and drive the car. Am I able to achieve loosely coupling? Now, my car is talking to engine. Yes or no? Am I using inheritance? Am I creating the object here? But I am able to call one class method from the another. Is there any concept related to Spring? What concept we have learned? Basic core Java classes, but best practices. How we are going to develop the classes in the real time, that we are going to. Still, Spring is not yet involved in this project. We are just developing normal Java classes. We are using interfaces. We are using constructor. Interfaces, constructors are related to core Java. Are you guys getting? Now here we are doing one operation. I'm creating a car object. I'm creating a car object. In the car object, I am injecting engine object. I am performing dependency injection. I am performing dependency injection. Sir, what is the dependency injection? Observe. Now, I'm creating a car class object. When I'm creating the car class object, for car class constructor, I am passing diesel engine object. What the car class constructor will do? Car class constructor will take the diesel engine object as a parameter, will store into this eng variable. This dot eng is equal to constructor eng. Whatever the object we are passing as a parameter to the constructor, that parameter will be stored into this eng variable. Now I am passing new diesel engine. What is the meaning of that? I am passing diesel engine object as a parameter. That object, it will store into eng variable. When I call the drive method, eng.start, what will be there in the eng? What will be there in the eng? Diesel engine. Who is storing the value to the variable? Constructor. Who is storing the value to the variable? Constructor. Who is storing that value? Constructor. Which line of code I am using to initialize the variable? Which line of code is initializing the variable? Line number 8. Line number 8. From outside, I am creating the object for the car class. For the car class object, I am passing engine object as a parameter. The constructor will be called. The constructor taking the engine object I am passing. That constructor is storing that object into current class variable. So this constructor I am using to initialize the variable. Are you guys getting my point? What is the role of the constructor here? To initialize the current class variable. Okay. What is the current class variable name? eng. What is the data type? iEngine. What is the meaning of that? Variable belongs to interface type. What value I can store into that variable? What value I can store into that variable? Any implementation class object. How many implementation classes available? 2 implementations. I can initialize any object into that variable. That is called as dependency injection. The process of storing one class object into another class object is called dependency injection. Are you getting my point? So what is the dependency injection? The process of injecting one class object into another class object is called dependency injection. That a dependency injection I am doing through constructor, it is called as a constructor injection. What is that injection? Simple. When you go to hospital, you are suffering from some fever. What doctor will do? Some drug will be available. That a drug they will inject into your body. That is injection. So whatever the medicine is available, that medicine should be injected into our body to kill that bacteria. So they are going to take the medicine into one injection. That injection they will inject into our body. So that is medical injection. But in the Java, car class requires the engine object. I'm injecting engine object into car object. This is called dependency injection. Car is dependent on the engine. Car class drive method is available. If car class drive method, if I want to execute, car is dependent on the engine. Without engine, can I drive the car? Without engine, we cannot drive the car. Now, how car is getting the engine object? Through dependency injection. Whoever want to drive the car, those people should inject the engine into car by using constructor. The process of injecting one class object into another class object is called as dependency injection. How we are performing the dependency injection? Through constructor. If you perform the dependency injection through constructor, that is called constructor injection. Are you guys getting my point? Now here, instead of going for the constructor, I can do one more thing. I can write a setter method. Public void set eng iengine eng. This dot eng is equal to eng. What is the meaning of that? The people who want to drive the car, they should first set the engine to the car, then they need to call the drive method. Now what I will do? Here I'm going to create the car object and I'm going to see c dot set engine new engine. Now how I am injecting the engine? Setter method. This is called setter injection. If I inject the object through constructor, if I inject the object by using setter, half of the Spring core module we understood. Half of the Spring core module we understood. I did not use the Spring. Most of the faculties will teach setter injection, constructor injection available in the Spring framework. That is not in the Spring. That is basic Java concept. That Java concept Spring is using. But our famous faculties in Amirpet, Spring constructor injection, Spring setter injection. That is wrong. That is a basic Java concept. That the concept is using by Spring framework. Am I using any Spring framework in the project? Am I able to perform setter injection? Am I able to perform constructor injection? Yes. So this concept introduced by the Spring, this concept is available in the Java. Available in the Java. Same concept using by Spring framework. So tomorrow we are going to perform the dependency injection in the Spring project. But today, who is performing the dependency injection? Programmer. Who is calling the setter method? Who is calling the constructor? Programmer. As a programmer, I am performing the dependency injection using a constructor, using setter. If I perform the dependency injection through constructor, that is called constructor injection. That means through constructor, I'm injecting dependent object into target object. Car is my target. I want to drive the car. That is my intention. My aim is to drive the car. In order to drive the car, my car requires the engine. So my target is what? Car. Car is dependent on engine. Dependent object I am injecting into target object. The process of injecting dependent object into target object is called dependency injection. How many ways we are performing the dependency injection? Two ways. What are the two ways? One is a constructor injection. Another one is setter injection. What is a constructor injection? The process of injecting dependent object into target object through constructor is called constructor injection. What is a setter injection? The process of injecting dependent object into target object through setter method is called setter injection. For example, this variable is a private variable. Can I access private variables outside of the class? Yes or no? Private variables we can access outside of the class also using reflection API. I already showed that program in the class. Remember or not? Did I explain that program or not? Yes or no? Private variables generally we cannot access outside of the class as per OOPS. But as per reflection, private variables also can be accessed outside of the class. Remember that point. In the interview, they will ask a question. Can we access private variables outside of the class? Ask that person. Are you talking about OOPS? Are you talking about reflection? If you talk about OOPS, we cannot access. If you talk about reflection, we can access. Right. Now, my variable is a normal variable. My variable is a normal variable. Now, here, can I do like this? C dot engine is equal to new petrol engine. Yes or no? What I am doing now? What I am doing now? Petrol engine object I am storing into ENG variable. So now I am storing the petrol engine object into car through constructor, through setter, through field. This is called field injection. What is that concept? Now here we are just trying to understand how to initialize one class variable from the outside. Now car class is having a variable. That variable I can initialize with the constructor. That variable I can initialize with the constructor. That variable I can initialize with the setter. That variable I can initialize directly. If I initialize the variable through constructor, that is called constructor injection. If I initialize the variable through setter, that is called setter injection. If I initialize the variable directly, that is called field injection. Springboot is going to support constructor injection, setter injection, and field injection also. So we are going to understand all these three injections in the Spring as well as in the Springboot. We understood basic concept. Now, who is doing the injection? Field injection. Who is doing that? Developer, programmer. I'm doing that. Tomorrow, IOC container will do that. Today, we are doing the injection by creating the objects manually. Tomorrow, I will tell to IOC container, hey IOC, this is my car class. This is my engine class. You inject the engine into car by using constructor. That is called constructor injection. I will tell to perform constructor injection. I will tell to perform setter injection. I will tell to perform field injection also. Here, as a programmer, I am doing the dependency injection. Just after 2 days, IOC container will perform the dependency injection. If IOC perform the dependency injection, do I need to create the objects like this? Today, I am creating the object. Tomorrow, IOC container will create the object. Now look at the car class. My car is talking to engine. Assume that now I remove the setter. Now let me keep the variable as a private. My car is talking to engine. My car is not talking to engine. My car is talking to engine. Directly talking or through interface it is talking. When I create the car object and when I call the drive method, eng.start. What variable in the eng? When I create the car object, I pass engine object. So petrol engine object is stored into eng variable. When I call the eng.start, petrol engine start method will be called. That's why output coming as petrol engine started. Now tell me, if I want to change from one engine to another engine, do I need to modify anything in the car class? No, I no need to modify single line of code also in the car class. Easily I can change from one engine to another engine. With this, can I say car is loosely coupled with the engine? Car is loosely coupled with the engine. So what is the tightly coupling? What is loosely coupling? If one class is directly talking to another class, that is called tightly coupling. If one class is talking to another class through interface variable, that is called loosely coupling. In the real time, every class we need to develop with loosely coupling. So to develop the classes with the loosely coupling, interfaces we need to use as a mediator. Car should talk to engine. Car is talking to engine through interface, so that we are able to achieve loosely coupling. So in the car class, eng variable is available. In this eng variable, I can store petrol engine object, I can store diesel engine object, I can store electric engine object also. Am I injecting that, or whoever want to drive the car, they will inject it? Whoever want to drive the car, they will inject it. I have given a constructor in my class. If you want to call my method, you need to create my object. To create my object, you need to pass my dependent. If you pass the dependent, using that dependent, I will drive. Are you getting my point? So we understood what is the dependency injection. Can you guys tell me what is the dependency injection? Can you tell me what is dependency injection? Without using Spring, we are able to understand the Spring concept, right? What is the dependency injection? Come on. The process of injecting dependent object into target object using target class variable or setter or constructor. Read this. Variable means a field, right? So the process of injecting dependent object into target object using target class variable or setter method or constructor is called as dependency injection. How many ways we can perform the dependency injection? 3 ways we can perform the dependency injection. What are the 3 ways to perform the dependency injection? Dependency injection types. Dependency injection types. 1 minute. Dependency injection types. Slowly we are entering into Spring, guys. Dependency injection types. What are those 3 types? First one is field injection. Second one is setter injection. Third one is constructor injection. What is the meaning of a field injection? What is the meaning of a field injection? If you initialize, if you inject dependent object into target object using the target class variable, then that is called field injection. What is the setter injection? If you inject dependent object into target object using target class setter method, that is called setter injection. What is the constructor injection? If you inject dependent object into target object using target class constructor, that is called constructor injection. Today in our project, we are doing the dependency injection from the main method. After 2 to 3 days, we will use IOC container to perform the dependency injection. So what is the advantage of going for IOC and DI? Classes will be loosely coupled. Now you understood the demo. Car class is talking to engine without inheritance, without composition. Are you clear? Good. Any questions, anyone? Interesting concept or not? So this is what we are going to develop in the real time. Every class that you are developing in the real time should be loosely coupled. If you want to achieve the loosely coupling, interfaces are mandatory. Without using interfaces, can I achieve the loosely coupling? Impossible. Without interfaces, we cannot achieve the loosely coupling. Perfect. So dependency injection we understood. Injection types also we understood. Good. Online students, any questions? Anyone? Notes I will upload to mobile app. You guys can download it. So when you download mobile app, you can see study material. In the study material, Springboot course will be available. In that course, you can see the latest material. I will upload the notes into that. People who don't have the mobile app can download it. Fine. Any questions, guys? Interesting? Yeah, good. I'm keeping my 100% effort. I want same thing from you. You see, when I'm explaining the Spring, my voice is going high. That is the command we have on the subject. That is the interest that we have on the subject. When I'm teaching JSP, no interest, because 10 years back it is outdated. There is no use of learning the JSP. But this is what we need in the market. So without this Spring Boot, without these microservices, you cannot get the job. You cannot survive as a Java developer. I will keep my 100% effort throughout the course. I'm expecting same thing from you. You can verify in whichever institute you want. Spring Boot microservices, Java project. Nobody can match with our explanation. Nobody can match with our content. If you want, happily you can go and attend the demo, then come back. Then you will feel the difference. What they are explaining, what we are explaining. So keep your 100% and I want you to practice. Whatever the project we have developed today, I'm not going to give the source code. The reason, I want you to think and I want you to write the code. In the other institute, faculty will write the code. After the class completed, we'll upload in the group. People will clap. Same code they are executing. Whatever the code developed by the faculty, they will download, they will import, they will run. Java is platform independent. Whatever is working in the faculty system, same thing will work in your system also. Where is your learning? If you execute somebody code, when you will write the code on your own, that is the most important. In our institute, first 1 month, you will scold me because I will not give the code. After 1 month, you will enjoy because you will write everything on your own. You should be able to develop the project on your own. Today project, how many of you can develop on your own? How many of you can develop the today's project on your own? Of confident? Huh? Pull, straight. Straight. Can you develop this? Yes, I want you people to develop this requirement. Today, same style, one more requirement I will give. So once we develop these projects without Spring, then you will get the confidence. What is the tightly coupling? What is loosely coupling? Then I will start using Spring in the same project. So whatever dependency injection we are doing now, Spring IOC will do that. You no need to create the object. You no need to call the constructor. You no need to call the setter method. IOC can do everything. We will automate that. Fine. Can you tell me what is the dependency injection? The process of injecting one class object into another class object is called as dependency injection. Target class object we will inject into dependent object. In our project today, which is the target class, which is the dependent class? Our class is which class we want to execute. That is our target. Our target requires some other class. That is the dependent. What is our target? Car. The car is dependent on the engine. Engine object we are injecting the car, or car object we inject into engine? Engine object we are injecting into car. That is called dependency injection. What is the constructor injection? The process of injecting dependent object into target object by calling the target class constructor. That is called constructor injection. What is the setter injection? The process of injecting dependent object into target object by calling target class setter method. What is the field injection? The process of injecting dependent object into target object by calling target class variable. By calling target class variable. Perfect. I want you people to develop this. Tomorrow we will work on one more requirement. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow. Notes will be uploaded to mobile app. Please download, guys. Thank you. How can I enroll this course? Tomorrow I will tell you the enrollment process. You can attend another 2 classes with the same Zoom link. If you like our explanation, then you can do the payment. Okay, guys. No hurry, no rush. Right. You can attend the classes with the same Zoom link. Thank you. Is this course free? No, it's not free. Backup videos, class notes, everything you will get in the mobile app. Course fees is 8,000 rupees. Right. Thank you.